Please. I want to say good afternoon or good morning or whatever that case may be, and welcome to our 2009 USA Wrestling Annual Awards reception, where we're going to take some time and recognize some accomplishments that occurred on the mat, around the mat, and within our great sport of wrestling here in the United States. My name is Van Stokes, and it's my pleasure to be our MC here for the next several minutes as we take time to recognize some people who have done some very significant things within our sport. I want to begin with recognition of a couple of Lifetime Achievement Awards. I want to tell you right up front that when I got involved in this sport many years ago, my good friend Floyd Winters, he said, "Van, it's about the people. If you learn one thing, you'll learn it's all about the people." And that's what it's about today, ladies and gentlemen. And within the Olympic experience, it's not just about winning the medal, but it's about taking part, striving to fulfill your potential, getting torn up on the inside, and pressing on, sometimes when defeat seems to be just around the corner. Such is the nature of our sport, and such is the nature of our journey. And so it is, as we recognize some performers and some very special people this morning, we want to begin with 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards. Our first Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Glen Brand from Clarion, Iowa. Glen coached in high school by his cousins Dale Brand, who was a '36 Olympian. He served in the U.S. Marines. Glen attended Iowa State, where he was a 1948 NCAA champion and 3-time All-American. He won the gold medal at 174 pounds at the 1948 Olympic Games in London, England. After his career, Glen settled in the Omaha area, where he was a hydraulics engineer. He was a YMCA wrestling coach for more than a decade, working with the area youth. And another legacy of Glen Brand is the Kaufman Brand College Wrestling Open, which is the largest single-day college wrestling tournament in the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to recognize USA Wrestling's Lifetime Achievement Award to Glen Brand. Accepting the award will be Mr. Tim Chu. He will be joined by Mr. Mike Denny. Ladies and gentlemen, Glen Brand. Ladies and gentlemen, Glen Brand passed away last November. We're here to offer a few words on his behalf. Mike Denny.
It's going to be better. I just don't want to stand in front of everybody.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about Glen a little bit. Got to know Glen about 25 years ago. And Glen, of course, very generous. And we named our tournament after him. And I used to just love to have him come up and talk to our team. He would always talk about his Olympic experience. And every time he did, he would just hold us spellbound as he would go through and talk about each one of his matches. And it was just an inspiration to have him come up and visit with our team. And I tried to do that as much as I could and as much as the time allowed for him. But we became good friends, and we in November lost a friend, but we also lost a warrior for our sport. And we lost a friend for our program. But, you know, we'll continue that tournament named after him. And, you know, I just have such fond memories of him and that smile. And, of course, he loved to golf. Actually, he was a pretty good golfer, but much different than most of you out here. But I want to thank USA Wrestling for this award and on behalf of Glen. And again, to tell you, we lost a friend and we lost a warrior for our sport. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mike. Our second Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Bill Smith. Bill attended Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson High School and went on to win 2 NCAA titles for the University of Northern Iowa, which was then known as Iowa Teachers College, in 1949 and in 1950. Bill never lost a college match, and he led his team to the NCAA team title in 1950. He also won 3 AAU national titles in freestyle and went on to win the gold medal at 174 pounds at the 1952 Olympic Games in Helsinki, Finland. Bill became a championship coach at many levels. As a high school coach, he led teams to state team titles in Rock Island, Illinois, and Concord, California, and was one of the few to ever coach state team champions in more than one state. He also coached at the University of Nebraska, as well as with the Olympic Club of San Francisco, and he coached USA wrestlers on the international level. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Bill Smith. Presenting our awards, by the way, is the president of USA Wrestling, Mr. Jim Ravenek.
He gets me up here on the mic and I got a mouthful of food. But it's wonderful to be here, and of course it makes it special, extra special, because it's in my old stomping grounds back in high school days. It's not too far over that way, and we used to do a little wrestling at TJ High School, and we always beat that other school, if I can remember. You know, I'm getting old. It's hard for me to remember those rival schools, but I think it's Abraham Lincoln, AL, something like that. And of course, we'd always go over to Omaha and try to whip those schools in Central and South High and stuff like that. So it was a pleasure to wrestle under, most of you don't know his name, but Coach Orville Orr. And we learned a lot of good wrestling that prepared us for later on, not only just the advancement in the sport of wrestling, but we learned about life from this guy. He was a wonderful coach, and coached at TJ for a good many years, and had several state champions. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of them, but I was close. And I went on to, of course, what we call Iowa State Teachers College. I have to tell you a little story about that, because being as I had only taken like second and third in the state, you know, they weren't about, Iowa teachers, of course, weren't about to come down and recruit that Smith guy. But they came down to recruit a guy by the name of Dick Lewis. So Coach Orr says, why don't you come on over and talk to Coach McCuskey. He's down here to see Dick Lewis and everything. Well, guess what? He ends up taking both of us. Lewis only stayed there about 1 year, and I stayed there for 4. So the little guy, well, wasn't little, he was little, but the minor so-called high school wrestler ended up being a national champion just because going to a school like Iowa State Teacher College, having a coach like Dave McCuskey, and of course wrestling with people like Bill Nelson, Bill Cole, Keith Young, and when you're knocking heads with those guys every day in the practice room, you're either going to get good or you're going to leave. And there were a lot of wrestlers that did that. I can't thank you enough for having this. Thank the USA Wrestling Group, the people that sponsored this tournament, and we welcome all you wrestlers. So I hope you all do well, except I do have a prejudice for 2 of the wrestlers that are in the tournament. I don't know if they're here right now, but old Trent and Travis Paulson, okay? Let's hope they win and go to the World Championship. they are Council Bluffs boys, even though they went to another school called Lewis Central and didn't happen to go to TJ. But it's still wonderful that this tournament is being held there. We have a great crowd, great people that are here. Some of my friends just pulled in. And Ron Pineda, all of a sudden I see him, and here he come back from over Europe just to be here for this special event. Now, I don't know whether it's because of me, but he says so, so I can't always believe it. But thank you all for dropping by, and of course, the USA Wrestling for presenting this award to an old man like me. It really is wonderful, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Smith will be available also this afternoon at USA Wrestling's booth located on the main concourse, where he will be signing copies of Legends of the Mat. So if you want to get that autographed copy this afternoon, please see Bill at USA Wrestling's booth. I don't have to tell you that we stand on the shoulders of a lot of great people, period. And between Glen and Bill Smith, we're very, very grateful. But we stand on the shoulders of many, many people. And at the center of this great mosaic called USA Wrestling stands the athlete. And we want to recognize 3 athletes today for being named outstanding wrestlers within their respective disciplines. Our first award winner is the recipient of the John Smith Freestyle Wrestler of the Year. And this award is named in honor of 2-time Olympic champion and 4-time world champion John Smith. Our winner captured the gold medal at 55 kilo in men's freestyle at the Olympic Games in Beijing, China, at the age of 21. And he became the youngest U.S. Olympic wrestling champion in history. He was the only U.S. men's freestyle wrestler to win a medal in the 2008 Games. He lost his first period in each of the 3 Olympic matches, but he came back strong to win them all in a full 3-period sets. And there's a lot of great things that you can note about this young man. I had the opportunity to sit beside him on a broadcast not too long ago, and I said, and Rulon Gardner was on the other side, and I said, basically, I can't pick 2 more people that in each of their own ways have realized the Olympic dream and what it means. Rulon, of course, for the things that took place in 2000 and beyond, and then to the gentleman on my right for the way you did it. As a member of the U.S. Olympic Training Center, as a resident athlete during the 2008 season, coming directly to the Olympic Training Center from high school, working with our coaches, working with our developmental coach, and working with a lot of people, and putting everything he knew to the test, and walking away with the gold medal in Beijing. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2008 John Smith Award winner as the Outstanding Freestyle Wrestler of the Year, gold medalist, Henry Cejudo.
Well, I wish I had more time to finish eating, but that's how it worked. I want to thank you guys for coming. Actually, I wasn't going to come, actually, to be honest with you guys. I just found out that 3 days ago I was going to make it, and it's just an honor for me to be here and be able to stand and see, all these legends. Time has, flew, like for me. I left, home at the age of 17, sophomore in high school, my sophomore year. And I left with a dream. People said, this Henry Cejudo kid, he's out of his league, he's out of his mind. Somebody popped his head. But you know what? I believed. And I left everything. I left my family. I left my friends to chase a dream. On August 19th, 2004, I left home. And on August 19th, 2008, I became the youngest Olympic gold medalist in the history of the United States of America. Video thing. And you know, I really couldn't do it without the support of USA Wrestling. You know, if you guys think about it, I was only a little kid. I mean, I still probably wet my bed. So I couldn't, you know, USA Wrestling, Doc Bennett. Doc, can you raise your hand, please? This guy, he's the one that made it possible for me. He's the one that believed me. He's the one that saw me when I was a, you know, sophomore in high school. He's like, you know, we got to get this kid here. At the time, you know, I lived in the ghetto. You know, it was tough for me to get to practice, find the best workout partner. So Doc Bennett, Kevin Jackson, Terry Brands, USA Wrestling. Thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. I'm living my dream, and I couldn't do it without you guys. And God bless you, USA. Thank you.
Henry, all we can do is say thank you very much for allowing us to share in that dream. And Doc Bennett, you shake your head so you know exactly what I'm talking about out there. Our next two athletes are not able to be with us today, but I want to recognize them publicly. The first is our outstanding Greco-Roman wrestler of the year, that is Adam Wheeler. Adam Wheeler captured a bronze medal at 96 kilos in Greco-Roman wrestling at the Olympic Games in Beijing, which was the top performance by Greco-Roman wrestlers for the United States. He defeated Hatta of Korea in the bronze medal match 3-1 and 4-1. He won the 2008 Olympic trials in Las Vegas. And he was also a member of the United States Olympic Training Center as a resident athlete. Previous member of the United States Coast Guard and wrestled for the United States Navy. And he hails from Lancaster, California. The first recipient of this award was in 1993, went to James Johnson, the 2008 recipient of this award, Adam Wheeler. Let's give Adam a big hand. Our women's wrestler of the year is Randi Miller. Randi won a bronze medal at 63 kilo in women's freestyle wrestling at the Olympic Games in Beijing. And like the other two wrestlers, was the only United States wrestler to win a medal in their respective discipline. She became only the third U.S. women's wrestler in history to capture an Olympic medal, joining 2004 Olympic silver medalist Sarah McMahon and the 2004 Olympic bronze medalist Patricia Miranda. She won 4 of her 5 matches at the Olympic Games, losing only to two-time Olympic champion from Japan in the quarterfinals. Also, she was a member of the United States Olympic Training Center as a resident athlete during the 2008 season. Ladies and gentlemen, our Women's Wrestler of the Year, Randi Miller. Give her a hand, please. I like to say that the first year in a new quadrennium, that's a 6-syllable word, I think, for meaning 4-year Olympic cycle, you see a lot of new faces. New names, perhaps. But one of the things that you start to see is the movement of youth. And as we recognize those wrestlers, you're seeing a lot of youth in Randi, Adam, who's not that old, and of course Henry Cejudo, who has the vast portion of his life way, way ahead of him. So it's about youth, but it's also about what happens in the room. It's what happens between the coach and the athlete. In talking to Mitch Hall earlier, Mitch said, 2 of the most important words that it's been said that young people hear is, quote, coach said, end quote. So a lot of us wouldn't have gotten on that fence post if it wasn't for the coaches that helped get us there, and we want to take time to recognize the coaches in our 3 disciplines, the coaches of the year, beginning with Greco-Roman Coach of the Year. Our Greco-Roman Coach of the Year was a member of the 2008 U.S. Olympic coaching staff. He served as the personal coach for 2008 Olympian Jake Deichler, who competed at 66 kilos in the Beijing Olympics. Deichler was the first high school wrestler to make an Olympic team in 32 years. Our recipient also helped coach the 2008 U.S. Junior World Greco-Roman team, participated in their training camps, and partnered with NCAA champions and U.S. Olympic team trials runner-up Jared Lawrence to operate the Pinnacle Wrestling School, where they work with young people and high school students and international wrestlers. He's a club coach with Minnesota Storm, and perhaps we not only will remember him for his work with Jake Deitzler, but when he was close to Jake Deitzler's age, what he did in the 1996 Olympic Games, when he won a silver medal at 52 kilo in Greco-Roman wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, our Greco-Roman Coach of the Year, Brandon Paulson.
Brandon?
Just like to thank USA Wrestling. As I saw Rich, I know Rich stuffed the ballots for me, a friend of mine, so I figured that had to be it. But no, I wanted to thank USA Wrestling, my mentor Dan Chandler, who taught me a lot about coaching when he was coaching me. You know, coaching is something I have a passion for, and I really love to do, and it's an easy thing to do when you have an athlete like Jake that does whatever you say and will work hard and has the mental toughness to do whatever he wants. So, you know, I owe a lot of this award basically to him for all of his hard work, and so I'd also like to thank him. I'm excited now to get into full-time coaching. I am open to wrestling school, like you said, at Pinnacle Wrestling School, and I'm pumped to do that full-time because wrestling is what I love, and I think that's why everybody's here, is because we all love it. So I'm fortunate to be able to do it for a living. So thank you.
And Brandon, we are fortunate to also have been part of your journey, which will continue. Our 2008 Terry McCann Award winner as USA Wrestling's Freestyle Coach of the Year is upcoming. This award was named after the late wrestling legend Terry McCann, who was a member of the 1960 Olympic champion. He's an Olympic champion in 1960, a member of that team. A longtime coach with the successful Mayor Daley Youth Foundation Club in Chicago, won numerous national titles. Terry McCann, besides serving as the executive director of Toastmasters International, also blessed us by serving as our president at USA Wrestling. Our recipient, though, today is a member of the 2008 U.S. Olympic team coaching staff, worked with athletes and other coaches at the Olympic Games in Beijing. He was also the personal coach for 2008 Olympian Andy Rovat, who competed at 84 kilos. He's a coach with the New York Athletic Club, which placed second at the Division I level at the 2008 U.S. Nationals. He served as a coach for U.S. freestyle teams touring, you name it, wherever we send teams, this man has gone with them. He owns and operates the Overtime School of Wrestling, which is a top training facility in this country. Now, the interesting thing to note is that he was named as the 2004 USA Wrestling Developmental Coach of the Year. In fact, when you talk about this man, development should probably be somewhere in his name, whether it was first, middle, or last. But he can add to that right now the title of the 2008 Terry McCann Wrestling Freestyle Coach of the Year, and that goes to Sean Bormet.
First, I'd like to say I appreciate the privilege and the challenge of coaching in a country with the wrestling tradition we have in the United States. I have tremendous respect for the outstanding depth and just the high regard for the coaches we have in this country. I've built a lot of relationships over the years, and you know, I think a lot of the coaches, I've been very fortunate to be around some of the best coaches as I was coming up, and I've learned a lot from a lot of the coaches throughout the country. And it's, you know, so receiving an award like this but the depth we have in the United States is truly an honor. So, thank you.
I said we stand on the shoulder of giants, and I also said that this is the year of youth, perhaps. But there's also the other end of that continuum, those of us that have been around for a while. And so it is with our 2008 Wrestling Women's Coach of the Year. Our recipient served as an official on the U.S. Olympic team as a coach this past Olympic Games in Beijing. I can't possibly go through his list of credits during his life, but not only in 2008 in Beijing, but he also served in 2008 as the World Cup coach, leading the USA to a very strong second place finish behind host China. He's a club coach right now with the New York Athletic Club, which was again the 2008 U.S. Nationals team runner-up in women's wrestling, coach at the 2007 Pan American Games, 2006 World University Championships, worked with the women during the 2004 Games in the Olympics in Athens, Greece. Was also a member of the 88, 92, 96 Olympic team staff, and has been a leader within USA Wrestling Ohio for many, many years. He served at every level. You can call Sean development. You have to call this person the voice of experience. But you also have to recognize him as our 2008 Women's Coach of the Year, Tadaaki Hatta.
You got it.
Thank you. I was talking to Bobby Douglas a few minutes ago. If you stick around long enough, you're going to get something. Right, Bill? Beth? Anyways, I'd like to thank everybody who's involved in wrestling, USA Wrestling, and Greco-Roman coaching staff. Anyways, if you have daughters and granddaughters, just encourage them to wrestle, because they're going to become maybe better than you, or maybe as good as you are. And I appreciate everything you have. Thank you very much.
We have recognized a couple of Lifetime Achievement Awards, taking a look at our Athletes of the Year and our Coaches of the Year. And we're going to shift gears a little bit now and take a look at the Outstanding Man of the Year and Woman of the Year, and recognize a few Outstanding Service Award winners as well. United States USA Wrestling's Man of the Year comes from West Paterson, New Jersey. He served as the New York Athletic Club chairman for 31 years. And when you do something like that, you hold virtually every leadership position in the organization. He retired this year after 31 years serving as their wrestling chairman. But during that period, he took the New York Athletic Club and raised it to the level of one of the world's best club programs, developing numerous Olympic and world medalists for the United States in all three styles. He currently serves on the board of directors for USA Wrestling and is president of USA Wrestling's Federation of Clubs that represents an interest of open clubs from around the country. And again, as he did at the New York Athletic Club, has taken a leadership role in helping other clubs develop in a like-type manner. Last 2 years, he's hosted international dual meets between the U.S. and foreign teams in New Jersey. When I saw him today, the first thing he did was tell me about the Fellowship of Christian Athletes banquet, or breakfast, I should say. That's coming up on Sunday morning. He's been inducted into the Long Island chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, and also the New York State College Wrestling Coaches Hall of Fame. This is an award that first went out in 1970 to Rex Perry. And our latest award winner right now from the New York Athletic Club. It's my pleasure to introduce Sonny Greenhalgh.
Thank you very much. I wouldn't feel right if this wrestling celebration, so to say, over the years I'd come up and have something to say, but I always had to bring my bridesmaid of 31 years. The guy's been with me, my roommate, Paul Keepers. You don't have to introduce me, but you have done a great job in the past, and I really appreciate that. I have to thank everybody. I have to thank my wrestling family. But I have to tell you something. My heart is so into wrestling that when my wife and I go out, have a drink, go anywhere, the first thing she'll say to me, there's a cauliflower ear over there. Why don't you go talk to him? or I'll say this. I can tell by the way that kid walks that he's a good wrestler. If he's not, he's going to be, and we're going to get him wrestling for the New York AC, right? But it's in my blood. It's deep down inside of me. I have to tell you, I am so proud to get this award. I have to thank everybody for it. I mean, this is my life, everybody. USA Wrestling is my life. I'm proud that you recognize me. It's a wonderful thing to me. I'm also, I feel humbled. When Rich Bender called me up and said you're going to be the man of the year, I said to myself, me? All the people within USA Wrestling who volunteer their time to do all these wonderful things to make it what we are today. I'm chairman of the Greco-Roman committee, right? Sports committee. Everybody on my committee deserves this award. I'm part of the freestyle committee. Everybody in that committee deserves this award. How about the executive committee? You can go on. How about the board members? And let's not stop there. Come to New York. Beat the streets. How about beat the streets? How about the New York Athletic Club Wrestling Club? How about the New York Athletic Club Wrestling people? They all deserve this award. If I could take this award and put it into 1,000,000 pieces and hand it to everybody, I need it to all of you. Because all of you are making this thing what it is. It's the greatest sport in the entire world, and it develops character. At 15 years old, I was a lost soul. I know at this point, at 67 years old, that there was a higher power came into my life and said, you know what? Go to wrestling. And with that, I'm here today. I was able to go to college. I was able to complete. I have great kids, granddaughter, wife. I'm a very successful guy. And you're telling me all the more today how successful I am. I am so appreciative. So again, I'd love to shake every one of your hands and say thank you. The battle's still going on. We got a lot ahead of us. You know, I'm going to be here for a long, long time. So thank you very, very, very much from the bottom of my heart.
USA Wrestling's Woman of the Year is from Hillsborough, Indiana, and is a very respected, highly respected pairings official, longtime wrestler volunteer. In fact, she's on USA Wrestling's Official Association Executive Board as an at-large member, serving in her second term, and has been a pairings official since 1975. She's worked hundreds of events on the local, regional, and state, national, and international levels. She's one of the pairings officials that worked in the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta, Georgia. And if you're not familiar with what the pairings officials do, they're the ones who make it happen. They're the ones who keep us on track. They're like the air traffic controllers that basically sets down the flight plan for the way things need to go during the course of a given competition. They work tirelessly, either in the tower or behind the scenes at the table, deep into the night, early in the morning, to make sure that we get the right people at the right spot at the right time for the right reason. But our winner today is notable for more than that. Her family has been involved in wrestling at many levels. Her husband Jan was one of the nation's top mat officials, and all three of their sons wrestled, and her son Cody is a national and international mat official. Ladies and gentlemen, we talk about wrestling being a family. Our award winner today epitomizes that. Please honor, if you will, Sue Hesser, USA Wrestling's Woman of the Year. I've got to say these things because whether they're here or not, they deserve that public recognition. When you see Sue and catch up to her, tell her congratulations. I want to shift gears one more time and recognize some people for some outstanding service. First up, we're going to honor an individual. I don't know whether to call him Dave, I don't know whether to call him Coach, I don't know whether to call him Doc. But his journey began many years ago in North Dakota when he competed in high school, college, and international wrestling. He's distinguished himself for 2 decades as a high school and a club coach in Washington, where my path first crossed him. Living in Washington, serving at Riverview and Richland high schools. He was an eye doctor with a passion for wrestling. And after giving up a very successful practice in Washington, came and joined the family in Colorado Springs to serve on the staff of USA Wrestling, the national governing body, as a full-time staff member, where he built a broadcasting business within the world of wrestling. All of the ESPN productions you see on the air, on Fox, or wherever they might be on a nationally broadcast network, are the result of the work of this individual. He was the National Freestyle Development Coach for USA Wrestling. He's helped out on numerous junior and university world level champions. He shares in the Henry Cejudo story. He's also recently named to receive at a later date an award from the United States Olympic Committee called the Doc Councilman Award, going to recognize the individual in the Olympic movement that uses science and technology for the betterment of their given sport. Rightly deserved. Ladies and gentlemen, our Outstanding Service Award goes to Dr. Dave Bennett.
Like Sonny, there's so many people I could thank, I wouldn't know where to start. But a good place would be Bobby Douglas, Art Martori. They started me on this journey by involving the Sunkiss kids back in about '84. Athletes I got involved with like Mark Schultz, and Dave, and John Smith. They kept me going, kept me interested. And life for me has been an adventure, and I'm proud to be able to say I've lived it. And the most exciting thing I've gotten out of this sport is all of the friends and all the people I've met. To be able to know the passion they've had for the sport, the difference it's made in their life, and the accomplishments that they'll make in the future because of what the sport's brought to them. I don't think there's anything quite like this sport. The highs are so high, the lows are so low that a pregnant ant couldn't crawl underneath. You know, you have to be able to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start over again so many times. And that's what life's about. And I thank you for this, and I thank you for being a part of my life and allowing me to be a part of yours. Thank you.
Our next Outstanding Service Award goes to a man whose wrestling journey began in the former Soviet Union in Baku, Azerbaijan, where he competed in Greco-Roman wrestling and became the Azerbaijan Greco-Roman champion. He served as head coach with the Labor Reserve Club, which won the Soviet National Championships a number of times, and was presented with the Honored Coach of Azerbaijan Award. Moved to the United States in 1991, and was the Greco-Roman coach for the Sun-Kissed Kids, where he worked with a number of championship level athletes. He was hired by USA Wrestling as its Greco-Roman residence coach in 1994 and began working right away with our national Greco-Roman team. He helped turn the United States Olympic Training Center residence program into one of the finest training locations located any place in the world. In 2007, the United States won the world team title in Greco-Roman wrestling for the first time ever. To a large extent, we have to say thank you and recognize the contributions that went into that for this outstanding individual. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Anatoly Petrosyan. Anatoly. Jim Ravenek said you couldn't say anything, so you're welcome to come up here and take this microphone.
I'm really glad, I'm really happy to stay here. And I'm working almost 17 years with wrestlers, USA wrestlers. 3 years in Sun-Kissed Club and 15 years USA Wrestling. And I'm very happy you are recognize me as a coach, as a U.S. wrestling star, and very much of these awards. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, USA Wrestling is proud to recognize two people who've made a major difference in the promotion and growth of wrestling in this country. And like the last two that we recognize, who are retiring from the staff of USA Wrestling. These next two individuals are retiring from the sport of wrestling, serving in a volunteer capacity. Through the years, they've used tremendous skills and enthusiasm and have helped raise the bar for public address announcing and wrestling events. Starting in native Washington State, one of them got his start with the local and state level events, turning machines into exciting shows for fans. In fact, you might have first met him when he sung the national anthem and then took his place behind the microphone and set the standard, raised the bar, if you will, for those that came behind. As you shake your head, Sandy, I know exactly why you're shaking your head. One of his greatest prides was being prepared. It's the heart of a wrestler. And then saying a name correctly. And if you've said as many names over a public address system as this man has around the world, you would know that requires a lot of time in order to get those names correct. But this is a team, folks. And I learned once I sat down beside him the first time that where he went, so went his best friend and his companion and his wife. When you walk into an arena and you hear someone say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world's oldest and greatest sport, the sport of wrestling, you know that it's coming from the voice of Mr. Ed Aliverti, and you know that seated right next to him, his companion on the journey, is his wife, Miss Shirley Aliverti. At this time, would the Alivertis please come forward and be recognized? Ed and Shirley Aliverti.
Thanks for everything. This is for me. Son of a gun. This must not work. This one doesn't work.
Man's got to plug it in.
You're going to have to fix it.
Push over. Get the, push down. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more.
We gotta cuddle up, guys.
Cuddle up.
50 years ago, I had an occasion by which I had to learn about a thing called wrestling, of which I knew absolutely nothing. 50 years later, my wife and I realized what a great ride we've been on. Realize what it truly means to be part of the wrestling family. It has been our course in life to do whatever we could to help keep the integrity, the honesty, and the sincerity of the sport of wrestling at the standard at which its 15,000-year history deserves. My wife and I are truly proud to be part of the wrestling family. And I guess, dear heart, we're truly proud to be a part of the world's oldest and the world's greatest sport. The sport of wrestling. God bless you.
It was fun because we had so much good news to tell the world, and the good news sits right here in front of us. I didn't know where I was going, but I helped it. It's been the best month I've ever had. We did 6 Olympics. Never thought I'd ever see one. In the stick in the bed, we were there 6 times. And that's the thrill, to see that American flag go up. Many times, and we were so proud of our country, and proud of our team, and all of you today the first time. Thank you.
Truly ambassadors, not only for our sport, for our country, as we go out around the world and engage and touch various places on this planet of ours. You've heard wrestling talked about as a family. Well, every family needs a patriarch. Every family needs a head. The head of USA Wrestling. It's my pleasure to introduce at this time our president, Mr. James Ravenek.
I want to thank Van Stokes. You know, Van is certainly a pinnacle, you know, all these tournaments, and you know, travels the world, on the board, he's on every committee. But, you know, Van is, you know, he is the family. And wherever we need something, we go to Van. I just want to say thank you, Van. And on behalf of USA Wrestling, you know, and I certainly want to give, this is our wrestling family right here. And I'm proud to be the president. And I want to introduce 2 new members of the family, and certainly going to be our team leaders for the next quad. Mike Novacrack and Dave Barry. Would y'all please come on up? Mike's going to be the team leader for freestyle, and Dave for Greco-Roman. And certainly, Monarch and the pinnacle of Sun-Kissed Wrestling, Kim Martori, Wiki, will be the women's freestyle team leader. But these two gentlemen is joining the family, and I want everybody to know who they are, and certainly I appreciate them and getting to know them, and you know, it's my pleasure to be the next 4 years with these guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'll just say on behalf of Mike and myself, it's been a real pleasure to get to know everybody. And, you know, we're really excited to continue to work hard over the next 4 years to make USA Wrestling and all Greco, women's, and freestyle programs as successful as possible. So thank you for welcoming us to the family. We look forward to working with you and meeting you all as we go forward over these next few years. Thank you.
I appreciate everybody coming today, and I think that concludes our venue. And thanks again on behalf of USA Wrestling. Thank you.